Testing, testing. Mic check, mic check. 1, 2, 3. I think we're live. Good morning, good morning, good morning. What's going on, everybody? Can anybody hear me? Let me know in the chat below so we can go and get started. How's my audio? Is it good? Man, this is some pretty good stuff we're gonna learn today. Alright, I'm just waiting for somebody to say they're here, at least one, so I know I'm live, then I'll start. And then I'll just kind of put this offline. So, there you go. Alright, Papa Legba and Ibis Fernandez. Alright, so basically in this video, I am going to be giving my 2 cents as to why real-time animation is really starting to get more famous and popular. One of the questions I get all the time, and one of the comments I get all the time on Instagram and on YouTube is, what's the big deal? We've been doing animations for so long, you know, like CG animation movies for so long. What's going on with this whole real-time thing? Why is it such a big deal? Is it just a fad? You know, is it just keywords and whatever, people trying to make it popular? Now, what I'm going to do today is kind of show you and pretty much tell you why I think real-time filmmaking or animation is really starting to get crazy popular. All right. Hey, what's up, Jason, Len, Marco, and Raul? But for us to do that, what I'm going to do is show you, luckily Disney Animation has this web page on their process. Before we talk about real time, let me go ahead and kind of show you a little bit on how it was done traditionally before. And Disney has been doing this for a long time, so I think looking at their process is a pretty good idea if we're going to compare real time to traditional rendering. So if you go to disneyanimation.com process, they actually have, swap my audio here, they actually have a web page that goes over the entire process of their animation, which is pretty darn cool. And, you know, whenever this came out a couple of months ago, whenever I found it, I started looking into here. But, you know, it talks about pretty much pre-production, everything that you can think of. But I think real time is starting to really catch a lot of attention right now, is because if you look at this process here that how Disney does their animations, it's still offline as far as I know, and I'll talk about Hyperion here in a second. As far as I know, they create their animation and then they render it out using render farms. So in a way, it's really not real time. It's still going to take a render farm for them to actually render out the image before they can actually see the final image, right? And again, this is all speculation based on what I'm reading and researching. I actually did some research on this, but this is their entire process. And what I'm going to show you right now is, if I go right here, WDAS, you're going to see their entire process. And if I go to a layout right here, click on this layout, it's going to go all the way down. Basically, they have this thing called shot production and layout. If I click on this, you're going to see it's kind of like a previs. To me, it's like previs for the movie. And this is how they pretty much make everything first. And then, you know, they put all the animations in there and so on and so forth. And then they actually light this and then add whatever they need, like technical animation, and then finally render it, right? So you can see right here, this is the final render that we saw from the movie. This is the animation. So with real time, and I'm going to show a video on, I talked about this video already before, the Love, Death, and Robots episode that they made in Unreal Engine. Real time is making a lot of waves right now because you're basically combining everything, the layout, the animation, the lighting, the rendering, in just one software, in one sit down. Because if you look at this layout, you're going to see that the graphics it's previs. You know, it's not the final pixel. They just kind of look like clay. And if you look at this one right here, same thing. And I think what's crazy about real-time animation and rendering, like Unreal, like NVIDIA Omniverse, is that the layout could also be your final pixel image, because you can light in there. You can do animation mocap in there. You're pretty much cutting down a lot of layers in your pipeline and workflow. And this is why people are going crazy over real time. Now, if you played video games in your life, that's considered real time. But the problem before is that real time graphics or quality, it wasn't really that good. You know, back in the day, I don't know if you remember, we would have like a gameplay and we would have cinematics. The cinematics look amazing. Well, that's because that's offline rendered. But the game is real time. But now, since technology is advancing with engines like Unreal and NVIDIA Omniverse, the real-time quality is now starting to catch up with the offline quality. So now, sometimes games can look as good as the cinematics. So this is why I think real-time rendering is a big deal. Now, path tracing, ray tracing, they're not new. But what happened was when Unreal Engine became free to everybody, and NVIDIA Omniverse is free to everybody, that just opened up a lot of freaking doors for a lot of people. Yeah, so exactly. If you read the comments right now, and I'm going to go through this after, of course. I'm not going to ignore you also. I'm going to scroll down. But that's why. And right now, I'm a YouTuber, but the job offers I'm getting for real time, I'm going to give you a couple of examples to kind of give you an idea of who's looking at this real time stuff. First and foremost, music video people. They're not having to hire render farms or CG artists to create music videos that look good. So they're jumping on it. And when I made a video, when MetaHumans first came out in beta, I started making music videos because I knew they were going to be the first one to jump on it. Music video people are really good at jumping into new technology. Actually, it was the fashion people actually ended up diving into a MetaHuman first. So I was wrong. The fashion industry went crazy with the MetaHumans because that was all the job I was getting, like all job fashion stuff. Music video, real time, with real time cloth physics, with fashion, music video, car commercials. And let me go ahead and tell you this right now. I was approached by a couple of big companies to work on car commercials. Because if you think about it, with car commercials in real time, you don't have to pay insurance, you don't have to pay a car rig, you don't have to close down roads, you don't have to get a crew. One person can potentially create a car commercial by themselves if you give them time using real-time technology like NVIDIA Omniverse, path tracing. So that is the crazy thing. This is why people are talking about real-time filmmaking and real-time animation. Now, additionally, the whole Unreal Engine really got a start with Mandalorian, volumes, because that's real-time, right? So I know it all got started with that, with, virtual production and things, but now it's starting to really branch out because people are starting to see the potential of this. Not having to wait months and months to see the final image is pretty freaking amazing because you're cutting out a lot of these here. I mean, the crowd animation, you can import the crowd animation in, like I've showed you in the Matrix demo in Unreal. The lighting, you can now do all in Unreal, real time, with real-time lights and fog and volumetrics. So it's crazy, And as a CG person, I love CG movies. It's so cool that we can all have this in our home for free. And that is what's exciting about all this. Because I'm going to show you now. According to this website, Disney actually has a real-time renderer called Hyperion. Now, I couldn't get a lot of information about this Hyperion, so I'm not really sure how real-time this is. But let me go to that page real quick, if I go to rendering and technologies, so once they've done all the layout, they do out all the animations, the lighting, they use Hyperion to render, right? So this is what they're using. And again, I'm not familiar with it too much. I'm trying to actually visit maybe ILM or something or Disney so I can kind of check out their workflow to compare it. But this is Hyperion. And from what I'm reading here is that this is a real time. I don't know how real time it is, if it's the same as Unreal or NVIDIA Omniverse, but this right here uses a render farm. If you're not familiar with render farm, it's pretty much a place. Actually, they showed it in the beginning. Just a bunch of computers right here. This could potentially be a render farm. There's a bunch of computers with GPUs, amazing GPUs, and this is what they use to render in those render farms. And for somebody like me, I can't afford a render farm. And again, this is Disney, so they can. But again, with Unreal Engine and NVIDIA Omniverse, you can have that in your house. And I'm going to talk about a little bit more about that in a second. So I guess Disney has a real-time thing as well, so you can see here. But I don't know if it's actually real-time. But after they're done with their layout, animation, all that stuff, they send it to render farms to render out, and they get their final image. So that is the traditional way on how to do things. Now, what I'm going to do is show you now a Netflix behind the scenes on the Unreal Engine 4 short film that, Netflix made, Love, Death, and Robots. I'm going to play that real quick because now we're going to look at the real-time way on doing things. So I'm going to go ahead and go here. Let me know if the volume is too low or too high, okay?
What was really exciting about Love, Death, and Robots was basically Tim Miller, the producer, was creating a sandbox for animators to explore creatively without trying to fit into a franchise or fit into a particular audience. He basically picks all the short stories, and then you're allowed to run with quite a bit of freedom within that framework. And that was obviously really exciting for us. In Vaulted Halls Entombed, it's a military story. Basically, soldiers meet creature and have to fight for their lives.
So Doug Oddie approached me and said, we're going to do this thing. It's got Cthulhu in it. And I said, I'm in. And then he said, photorealistic humans, multitudes of swarming, flesh-eating insects. And he said, we're going to do it in Unreal Engine. And I said, I don't know what that is, so let's get into it. Let's try it out.
I've been intrigued by real-time filmmaking for many, many years, even prior to the advent of Unreal and other types of technology like that. And I was looking for an opportunity to do something creative using real-time. I saw the episode for LDR as a perfect opportunity, even though we had no prior footprint for Unreal at the company. It was a leap of faith. It's going to be hard. There's no roadmap. There's probably no parachute. I love those kind of challenges. I love going into a project where you may not know how you're going to do it. You have to have enough confidence and maybe enough self-delusion. If you get to work on something like this once in your career, you're lucky. What I found to be really exciting about this workflow was the fact that in pre-production, when you're building assets that you're going to be using in layout, those are the same assets that are going to end up in the final piece. They just get progressively better through the process.
We built an entire 15-minute piece as a framework to work from within 2 weeks.
Crazy.
Next step would be to take that up and sort of raise the level of the entire piece all at the same time right up until the shoot.
We were showing blocking. We actually got feedback from the clients. They're like, did you spend all your rendering budget on your assets already?
Working inside of Unreal flips the script a little bit. Our asset artists become world builders, and they are able to pick and choose from the Quixel library or other libraries that we have available. The fidelity that's available to you at the click of a button, it's incredible, it's amazing. And it allows ideas to happen organically, and you can explore.
You're just not focused on turntables anymore. You're seeing things live in the shots as they are meant to be, and you get swept up in the story, you get swept up in the capacity to change it and shape it. It's pretty liberating.
The performance capture process, we prepared Unreal assets that could be played on monitors, tracked with the camera in real time, where then the actors could then see themselves in the body of their avatars. And then they would know, as they're walking through a tunnel, for instance, the curve of the tunnel. They actually will maybe crane their head and kind of peek around the corner. But on the set, what they're really seeing is just a bunch of poles indicating the volume of the tunnel. And that's vital for helping performances.
Crazy.
Usually it takes a week or so before I can get the data. I have to actually order the data and be very specific about which takes I like so that they can process the body motion capture first, so then we can begin the process of doing layout.
Normally, we try to make our first edit with cuts from the video footage, which is this mix of 2D storyboards and video footage of actors running around on a soundstage with tights. And it feels a million miles away from what your project is going to look like. With Unreal's involvement, you get the take recorder clips almost right away. You've got characters interacting in your environment, and you can place cameras on them. You get the eye lines figured out, what your cutting pattern looks like, and that's going to inform how you make your mocap selects. Now you're making your cut with footage that looks like the footage in the final project.
We can't say enough about MetaHumans. The project was very ambitious. It was doing 6 characters, human photorealistic characters in engine for 15 minutes short, all of them with dialogue, many of them with various degrees of mutilation and complexity.
In our early discussions with Epic, they showed me an early version of the MetaHuman demo, which was basically almost pre-beta code. It was super impressive.
Definitely one of the most time-consuming and resource-intensive things we do is build face rigs. They're incredibly resource-heavy, lots of iterations. There's a ton of bespoke work involved in that. So when we knew we had the prospect of MetaHuman, we thought, yeah, let's lean on these guys and see what they can deliver for us. We ended up using them for 3 of our 6 human characters that have face rigs, and the rigs are as powerful as any rigs we're using right now.
You know, it's a real game changer. It is something that allows you to not worry about the details of that aspect of it, and you can focus on the storytelling.
Real-time technology has started to blur the lines between what was otherwise weeks and months of rendering to get to final product. Once you've got your environments laid out, your sets are lit, everything is looking good, your performances are in there, the animation's in there, you can rework the entire film in a day or 2, like every shot.
When you get used to doing real-time decision-making, the quality of the work is always better. So that edge that the engine gives you is incalculable. It's easy for me to say that I don't want to go back.
All right. Okay. So let me go ahead and make sure my audio is on. Yeah. Okay. So that is the real-time way now. And comparing it to the traditional way, this 6-minute video just kind of showed you why real-time is really a big deal. Being able to mocap inside your talents, being able to see where they're going, interact with each other, interact with the environment, light and set dress all in the same place, that is insane. And as you can see right here, they actually have it projected on the television as far as what the environment looks like. This is why Unreal and NVIDIA Omniverse are a thing, and this is why they're really starting to get really popular. Now, another crazy thing about this is whenever they add multi-GPU support in Unreal Engine 5, we are going to be able to render even better looking graphics in real time. That I cannot freaking wait, because right now in NVIDIA Omniverse, it does support multiple GPU, and that's why I am in there all the time now, just trying to play around with it. And I guess I can kind of show you what that looks like. So I'll put up NVIDIA Omniverse right now. So in NVIDIA Omniverse, there is path tracing and there is eye array. Path tracing and eye array are superb. They look amazing. But in NVIDIA Omniverse, there is actually, if I go to path tracing right here, I'm going to go ahead and go down. Obviously, the anti-aliasing, all that stuff. If I go to common, you can have path traced global volumetric effects. So this is real time you're looking at right now. I can kind of turn this on and off so you can kind of see the difference. And if I swap this over, this is, by the way, one GPU. If I switch this over to path tracing, this is going to resolve. I have 1,000 sample per pixel right now, and this is showing you how many seconds it's taking to have that resolve in the editor. And I'm gonna go ahead and make this bigger so you can kind of see it. So again, since NVIDIA Omniverse supports multiple GPUs and it has path tracing with volumetric fog, this is one GPU that's running right now. I tried it. I don't know if you've seen it in the channel before. I tried it with 4 RTX A6000s, but this one right now is only 1 A6000. So you can kind of see where I'm going with this. This is why real time is freaking crazy, right? This is why everybody is freaking out about this, because this technology is really starting to catch up with offline renderers like Arnold or Octane or whatever you use, Cycles or EV, whatever. I don't really use those. But this is why it's getting pretty darn crazy, okay? Because compare that to real time. I mean, obviously I didn't light it correctly for real time. Path tracing and iRay are just, they're amazing renderers. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That is why I think real time is getting so crazy popular right now, and everybody's jumping into the bandwagon, if you will. And a lot of people were afraid about that. Oh yeah, Unreal is just a bandwagon. You know, it's gonna go pass and it's gonna be done with. NVIDIA Omniverse is the same thing. But I don't think it's going to. I don't think it's just a bandwagon fad thing that's just gonna pass by. I think this is going to become the standard, if not already a standard for animation, because you save so much money. You heard that person in that Unreal video asking, did you already spend all your rendering budget already? Because rendering in render farms are really, really expensive. Super expensive. And the crappy thing about that is when I tried rendering in a render farm, you really won't know the results until it's done. And if they're wrong, you just spend all that cash rendering whatever and it messed up somehow. All right. So let me go ahead and take a look at the chat real quick. Yeah, so let's go ahead and take a look. And again, thanks for hanging out with me, man. I know it's like a weird time on Friday. Avatar Blue Minds with their CGI. Yeah, that's, man. That when I saw that in the theaters, I just went crazy. And actually, that 2009 movie still carries till this day. It still looks fantastic. Yeah, they spend months storyboarding in previs so they can do shots exactly as you want, but real time you can do as many takes as you want, just need to worry about performance. Absolutely. Storyboarding, you're pretty much in real time, you're pretty much combining all of those process into one sitting. You know, you got storyboard, previs, layout, lighting, animation, set design. You can just do all of that. And it's pretty cool to see the workflow for Love, Death, and Robots, because they started off with bare, but they were just really re-importing those assets, higher quality at a time. So if they have the base soldiers, they would just re-import the assets and then get the good quality ones later, and they don't have to change a thing because they're all rigged the same and they're all animating the same. So that workflow was pretty good. Now this is noisy because I don't have denoising on and I only have the samples to like 1,000. So just in case you were wondering. All right, so storyboarding, not that relevant anymore, absolutely not. And honestly, when I started using Unreal last year, a year and a half ago, a lot of people that were approaching me, you know, they work for, Marvel and all that stuff. They were actually trying to hire me for previs. So there are people out there that are doing Unreal Engine only for previs, not Final Pixel, which is still cool because you can still previs in Unreal and NVIDIA Omniverse pretty fast. So yeah, they do that as well. Current real-time renders look better than pre-rendered sequences from a few years ago. Absolutely, man. Those cinematics back then, real-time, obviously is going to look better than them. Again, with multiple GPU, in 5.1 right now, Unreal or Epic added a console variable that says r.multi-GPU. path tracing. But I can't get it to work somehow. But hopefully when 5.1 comes out, we would get a little bit more documentations on that. Because it seems as though that Unreal is going to be getting multiple GPU support in 5.1. So more on that. I have a feeling that even high-powered OC, overclocking CPUs are going to be more attainable for everyone. MetaHumans prove it. Yeah, man. I'm actually running on an Intel 10900K, which is a gaming CPU, because I was actually going to quit my YouTube channel and just play games. I was like, I'm just going to play video games. So I bought a rig for gaming, and then Unreal kind of came along, and here I am making Unreal content. So I need to upgrade my CPU, but I gotta save up some money, because what I'm trying to go is a Threadripper, and that's expensive. The next Oculus Meta headset actors can really control the actors. Well, that's cool. Like, how do you mean? AR pass through. EV is more or less real time, but yeah, I haven't really messed around with EV and cycles, because I went from, Unreal. I mean, I use Blender, don't get me wrong, but I don't render anything in there. UE looks better. Blender plans to merge both its rendering to EV. We can do our own avatar now. That's crazy. Yeah. But yeah, man, I mean, that's really it. What does y'all think? Do y'all think that, real time is really just something that people's freaking out about right now, and this is going to, be forgotten later? Or do y'all feel the same way with me, as far as this is probably the start of real-time filmmaking, and a lot more people are going to start using this? Because honestly, a lot of people are, even the most random jobs are asking me about Unreal Engine. Like, I'm consulting for people that you won't even think would be using Unreal, are using Unreal right now. Like houses, like selling houses, hey, can you help me with this and all that stuff? Creating buildings, bridges, art. It's just crazy, man. It's super cool. Multi-GPU is the future, and hopefully the recession will bring prices down. Real-time path tracing, yes. So, James, in the US, it's actually starting to normalize as far as the GPU prices. But I don't know if that's because the RTX 4000s are coming out, but I feel like we can actually get GPUs now. Oculus Meta 3 has eye and face tracker. Oh, that's cool, because they're trying to promote that Zuckerberg's metaverse. I really want to have a real VR holodeck with Unreal. Yeah, so VR, I was talking to a couple of VR developers. It's still pretty difficult to get photorealistic in VR, even though in 5.1, VR is going to get nanite and lumen. And that's because hardware, that we're still, as far as VR goes, it's still tough to render high quality in VR. Not really for Megalon, but a VR holodeck. Oh, okay. Yeah, Unreal Engine is crazy. And I'm actually curious, because it's frustrating in a way as well, because Unity, they keep creating these amazing demos. They released that Enemies demo a couple months back, and they do this all the freaking time, and it's annoying. It's like they release a really cool demo, and they go silent. Radio silent. It's like, what are you doing? Like, can you tell us about this? It's frustrating, because I'm watching Unity as well, because I don't stick to a brand. I will use whatever makes sense and whatever is affordable to me. So I'm curious to see what they are up to, because to be honest, Unity started real-time filmmaking animation a long time ago, because I remember Neil Blomkamp created a couple of short animations in Unity as well in real time. So I'm not set to a company. I will use whatever makes sense, and I'm waiting for them to just do something. And I don't know what's going on. I'm trying to scan my face into MetaHuman, but I have a big beard. Nah, it's not gonna. Nah, man, it's not. That's gonna be rough. 5.1, you have to get it from GitHub, Epic Games. Yeah, see, I don't know, man. UE marketing much better than Unity. Yeah, I don't know what to say. Didn't they spend $4 $40 billion on Weta Digital alone or something. Unity did. And then they bought Ziva Dynamics. So they purchased a bunch of cool stuff, but I don't know what's going on, to be honest. Yeah, Unity had Neil Blomkamp, but now it's funny because Neil Blomkamp just made Unreal Engine 5 short film for a game, for Gunzilla, which I made a video about on the channel. But yeah, I mean, again, it's pretty exciting for us. And what's cool is in 5 years, facial animation, body animation, those are all going to be more affordable. Everything becomes more affordable in time. And photorealistic assets in the marketplace, 99% of the assets in there are still very stylized video gamey, but I'm hoping that they will start to import photorealistic trees and buildings and characters in there as well. Yeah, 30 to 4 people, man. Can you imagine, like, I wish 40 people in a team making a movie, man, that would be a dream come true. Because honestly, as much as I love the technicalities of everything, I want to just focus on the story, you know, I don't know. I just want to focus on the story, dialogue, and the writing, and then have everybody else kind of take care of the rest. But, you know, being a solo filmmaker, real-time filmmaker, it's hard, man. It's hard to balance those things. Let's say, what build do you recommend to create a full animation short film? It depends. If you're just trying to render real time, a 3060, 3070, 3080 should work. But if you're trying to render like path tracing or high ray tracing settings, I would say a 3090. Because yes, you can make movies, and it all depends on the way you prep your assets as well. Whenever you're making movies in Unreal, think about it as movie sets. Like in Hollywood, they create small pieces of the movie sets and not huge ones. Because if you create a huge city environment and try to make a movie in there, good luck with that. You're going to get a lot of crashes. But just take like a street, one street at a time, or one restaurant at a time, one room at a time, and you should be good. If you're smart about how you are making this movie, you shouldn't need high quality graphics cards. If you're only doing real time ray tracing or even Lumen, you should be okay with a 3060, 70, or 80. Let's see. Unreal doesn't change till after you make 1 million. Yeah, I'm not gonna make $1 million, man. I barely on YouTube. I get paid like $300 from AdSense, $400 if I'm lucky. In my lifetime, I'm old. Someone will win an Oscar making a movie with Unreal. Yeah, to be honest. I'm sure. I hope I'll see that day. That would be super freaking cool. You know, why not? What is the best, also cheap PC build? Dude, I'm in the US, so I just go to Amazon, and I bought a 3060 computer there last year, a year and a half ago, and it was like $1,100. 3060 computer. There's still no unified solution for, you know, performance capture, the voice, facial. Yeah, of course. Yeah. I mean, it's a Frankenstein way right now, but, you know, it's like DIY. People are always going to DIY stuff. And when I started working with MetaHumans when they were released in pre-beta, man, we did a lot of DIY stuff. If you go back to my channels, it was just trying things that worked. And it was fun. It was part of the headache. It was part of the research, part of, you know, pioneering things, just figuring things out. So yeah, I mean, I don't miss those days, and I still do kind of troubleshoot in Unreal and in NVIDIA also. Let's see, screenwriting most important, most difficult. So yeah, work. Yeah, screenwriting, man. Honestly, if for some reason I was able, you know, like a company gave me a budget, like, hey, here's like 100 million, go make a movie. The first thing I'm going to say is, like, give me the best screenwriters you got. Because, yeah, story still drives a movie for me. You know, you can have all these amazing graphics, shiny stuff, but if the story is just blah, and I actually felt about that with the Doctor Strange, the Multiverse. I'm like, I just got so bored because the story didn't grab my attention or nothing. So I just watched it, watched it. But yeah, writers are so important. It's so very hard. And not a lot of people teach you how to write. People teach you how to make movies, except for writing, because that's tough, man. And but it's a good way to make your work stand out. One shot at all time, then one scene at a time. Yep, exactly. 3060. Yeah, you really can't crank the samples for ray tracing if you have that 3060. Working on episode 1 should be all right, man. Yeah, Evans. Yeah, make sure you send it. Yeah, send me a link, dude. I love watching people's work. Having to play royalties on $1 Million Earn would be a problem. I'd be happy to have. Yeah. Can we use gyro data to mobile coupled? I haven't messed around with that one until Franklin. I've used an iPhone to use that as a live camera, but I haven't tried that. In theory, you could use you as an offline renderer if eGPU isn't too far. It doesn't need to be 101 real time. Yeah, that too. Lowered Android mobile. Oh, nah, dude. So wait, that's another thing that I'm kind of frustrated with. I am an Android user, and I am not sure if this technology is patented by Apple, but we still don't have a facial animation for Android. Well, we do, but it's crappy. We still don't have an Android camera tracker. I had to buy an iPhone just to be able to use facial animation and camera tracker in Unreal, and that was frustrating to me because that was a year and a half, 2 years ago. Like, I'm not sure what Android is doing. If my character is made out of triangles, is it usable in-game angels or have to be quad always? I'm not sure what you mean by that. I would just try it, man. I mean, if you can rig it, try it. Just don't upload crazy amount of polygons in there. That's all I gotta say, because I tried to import a character today that has like 1.2 million just to test it out. It didn't work out quite well. Intel iCore RX 580. I'm gonna tell you this right now, and I'm not saying this just because like I'm an NVIDIA ambassador. Don't get AMD graphics cards and try to work in Unreal. And NVIDIA Omniverse, obviously you can't. That's just me. Oh, David Mamet Masterclass. That was great. Hey, thanks for the tip, man. Yeah. Involve your writing draft. Yeah. Hey, but the good thing is with iPhones, you can use the iPhone 8 or 10. iPhone 10. iPhone X, I think, is the minimum. But you can get those used, hopefully cheap. Yeah. I don't know, man. I hate it too, trust me, because I have an Android phone, but I have an iPhone just for, facial animation and stuff. Is it possible to transfer a MetaHuman to another account? Nah, man. I wish maybe in the future they will do that, because that would be so convenient. But what I've been doing is just let's see. Have your friend create a project, an empty project, and put the MetaHuman in there and send it to you. Unfortunately, that's what you're going to have to do. Unless they do implement a character transfer. That'd be cool. What about Nokia? Dude, I don't know. Nokia was like the #1 company when I was growing up. And that's just so funny because you can never stay #1 forever. Is it possible? Yeah. All right. Okay, so do y'all have any questions? I'll wait a couple more minutes to kind of answer some more questions. And again, thank you for hanging out. But I know I had to make this video because I do get a lot of questions as far as real time. What's the big deal? And I'm hoping that I kind of showed y'all why in a couple of minutes here. Man, my nose is running. Yeah, get better screenwriting setup for masterclass. Went through some of the great masterclass and it really helped. Yeah, writing. It's just one of those things that I'm not gonna do. If I have the budget, I will find the best screenwriters out there, because that's what they do. Like, I'm not gonna try to become. That's a profession, so I'm not gonna try and become like a surgeon if I'm not. I'm gonna have the professionals take care of the script. I have the idea, they can write the script for me. Buying an iPhone in India is like buying an RTX 3090. That's crazy, dude. That's crazy. Hey, what's up, Faith? what search term should I type in Amazon? I just look for the graphics card that you go with, RTX something or whatever. Let's see. I'm looking right because my screen is on my right. Okay. Let me see. Oh shoot, I unplugged it. Hang on. Okay. Man, I hope that's not too loud. Okay, so I don't have any more questions. Again, thank you all for hanging out. And yeah, I think I'm about to hit 62,000 subscribers here. Big thanks to all of you all. Honestly, most of y'all actually really helped me with, I guess it's how it works. If your subscribers watch it and like it, I guess that's how your videos get recommended on YouTube. So I do appreciate that, because really some of y'all I can see like right away liking and watching. So I really do appreciate that. But yeah, I don't see any more questions. So I hope y'all have a good Friday. If you're all in the United States, happy Labor Day weekend. Be safe out there. It is Labor Day. A lot of drunk drivers are out. So just be careful. Hang on. Adrian just asked, what's your workflow for mocap in terms of body versus Fingo shimsite? Yeah, dude. Check out. I have a couple of videos that kind of talk about that. So I did Xsense inertial mocap for body. For fingers, I did iClone to add the hand animations in iClone, because I don't have finger tracking gloves. They're expensive. And then for helmet, I'm using FaceGood. And yes, you have to combine them all at once in Unreal, which sucks, but you got to do what you got to do, man. So body Xsense, iClone hand gestures, and FaceGood for facial. Okay. All right, y'all. Thanks for hanging out. I'll try to do more of these live streams and hang out with y'all. I appreciate it. $1,000.